Good morning, guys. I hope your week is going well. I love seeing all the Christmas decorations that we've got up around church this week. And then, man, I'm getting excited about Christmas in my own house and being able to spend time with family. And it's just going to be a great time. And as I'm studying this past week, I came across a reading that I want to share with you guys. And it talked about self-image. Now, I know a lot of people struggle with self-image this time of year since they're seeing family that they haven't seen in a while. Perhaps, they might be enjoying too much of those family meals or too many of those Little Debbie Christmas trees like I do, or they're coming back home after a tough season of life over the past couple years or months and seeing family again. We all struggle with our self-worth sometimes. There are so many different things that can affect how we see ourselves. And one thing I've noticed in student ministry specifically is how difficult it is to separate between a person's digital life and their actual life. People will post all kinds of great pictures, and man, it really seems like they have it all together. But in reality, those people are lonely and they're searching for meaning. Oftentimes, they're even composing those pictures to keep up an image that's not really their life in the first place. And sometimes we will get labeled a certain way by the world, and then it's so hard for us to break out of that label. You might be labeled by your job, right? You might be labeled by a sport you play, or perhaps even a hobby that you have. It could be a label given by your physical appearances, or perhaps your stage in life that you're going through, right? The world takes that label and, man, it announces it with a loud voice, and we feel like we can't be anything else but what the world has labeled us. If you've had any of those feelings before, guys, there's some good news that God sees beyond those labels and right into our very heart. 1 Peter 2, we get a word about who we are in Christ. It says, "But you are a chosen race, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for his own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light." Guys, we have purpose and worth beyond the labels that the world throws on us. We aren't condemned to be nothing more than whatever they say about us. We have the potential to live up to this great calling that God has for each of us individually. So something I love about the book of John is how John himself describes himself in the letter, right? He never uses his name directly. Instead, we keep hearing the phrase, the disciple that Jesus loved. For a long time, I didn't connect that, but John didn't want the labels that the world would try to put on him for the greatest title he could ever hold was to be loved by Christ. He didn't claim to be the favorite disciple with that statement. That phrase means something different. Only that he was loved by Jesus, one of many, one of all, right? If we could embrace this mentality, it would free us all up from the baggage that comes with society's labels. We aren't just a pastor. We're not just a student. We're not just a mom, a dad, a brother, a sister, whatever. We are loved by Jesus and we are his. And that is the most important part of our identity. Now, there's a passage from Ephesians 1 that I came across in the Message translation, and I love how it was paraphrased there in that translation. Ephesians 1, 11 through 12, it says this, "It's in Christ that we find out who we are and what we are living for. Long before we first heard of Christ and got our hopes up, he had his eye on us, had designs on us for glorious living. Part of the overall purpose he is working out in everything and everyone." So guys, don't let the world stick you with a label. Instead, embrace the fact that you are loved by Jesus, and then let that fuel your identity and fuel your efforts. Have a great rest of your week, guys. We'll see you all real soon.